We are set. Let it go.
Yay!
Pickles.
And welcome to episode 87, I guess. 87 of Ripping the Rack podcast.
It's been so long.
87 years.
It's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years since we had a show. This is our first show coming back from a going bi-weekly. That is not twice a week. That's every other week, folks, just so you know.
Yeah. Bi-monthly, if all the months have 4 weeks.
Yeah. So let's see. My name is Tim. With me today, I've got we'll go the King of the North, Mr. Calvin Locke. How are you, buddy?
Gentlemen, good. How are we?
Doing well. Good. And with us today is the Coastal Crusader, Mr. Brian Athern.
Or you can call me the COVID Crusader because that was fun. Much better. Yeah. Feeling better now, so that's great.
Good.
We'll be ready to go back and frustrate myself with bowling.
We are not having our mass hole. Marky is not joining us today. He's doing the adult thing and working and making money for
paper.
Making that paper.
He's making Colorado trip money.
Yeah.
Oh,
June.
yeah. When are you guys going next?
June. At least
June.
That's when I'm going. Is June
Cool.
because that's their WrestleMania. That's milestone.
Okay. Yeah, Tim, you'll see the picture of his lip here in 30 seconds when it comes up.
Okay.
Yeah. Tom Brady's getting upset. He getting walloped.
Let's see. So oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So what have we done over the past 2 weeks without the show? Well, Wordle.
Wordle is the thing.
Yep, Wordle's the thing.
I have not played Wordle.
It's pretty cool.
It takes
5 minutes.
Maybe 5 minutes out of your day.
Yep.
And you
it's
just a little share it and yeah.
It's just a little brain teaser, you know. But I did find out today someone was nice enough to tell me about Lewdle.
It's a dirty one, right?
It's the NSFW one, the not safe for work one.
So Tim doesn't play Wordle anymore.
Yeah. No, I'll do both. I'll do both. I got the Lewdle one in 2 words today.
Yeah, I guarantee it. I mean, after penis, there's not many other dirty words that you can put in there.
Oh my God, there's a ton of them. We're not going to go over them right now, but no. So I laughed at that one. But yes, Wordle has invaded the.
That's like a Pokemon.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of. It's just, but I mean, and that's the thing. It's 5 minutes out of your day, and people are just so excited if they get it right. And they post it, and like I can't.
Then they tell you what it is, so you can't guess it.
People learning now.
No Wordle spoilers.
Yeah. People are learning that. But and I will say what I really like about it is 2 things. One is the simplicity behind it.
Yeah.
Literally, it's
guess
a 5-letter word.
Yeah.
You have 6 tries. Number 2, it's the same word for me that it would be for Calvin, that it would be for someone in Australia, that it would be for someone in New Zealand, whatever it is around the world. It's the same word. So to me, I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Do you ever encounter they're just cultural words that we just don't use here?
Not yet.
I've seen a couple.
Do they have categories? Do they?
No, it's literally just 6 category or 6 empty spaces, and you just
5
pick a word.
5 empty spaces, 6 lines. So you pick a word. Let's say train, TRAIN. For those.
But wouldn't it make sense to start out with a word like edu or something, so you have all the vowels?
Right. I'm just saying. Let's say for the sake of argument,
start playing this shit, aren't I?
Let's say for the sake of argument, I put in train, and the T comes up green. That means
that means you're positive. That's bad.
That means that the T is the first letter.
Oh,
in the correct
spot.
Yeah. If the T came up yellow, it means that the 5-letter word has T in it. It's not in that spot. Or if it comes up gray, that means that word, that letter is not at all.
So it's like Mastermind.
Yes, there. I couldn't think of the game Mastermind.
Okay. Yes,
it's exactly what it is. It's Mastermind with words.
Perfect. Yeah, it's just pretty neat. I don't know. It's something to do when you're
I'll check.
sitting on the shitter. I mean,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah. It's, I don't know, kind
So
of
you don't
fun.
play Boom Beach anymore, is what you're saying too?
I honestly haven't played Boom Beach in about a year, I bet.
I used to play Clash Clans. That was the big one that I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my pooping game. Yeah, everyone has to have a pooping game.
Yeah.
Everyone. Yeah, mine's free cell.
God, good to know that this show has elevated the consciousness of all Candlepin bowlers.
Hey, we do
on our pooping games.
On our pooping games.
Wordle.
Wordle.
Or Lewdle. Lewdle.
Oh.
And yes, God. Folks, that actually is a game just like Wordle. They did the same thing, only it's lewd words.
It is lewd crude.
Yep. So if you've got a juvenile mind like me, perfect game for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect game. Anyway, so bowling.
Yes.
We got nothing.
There's not a lot going on. We're kind of in a lull.
Let's start with Calvin. Calvin, give us an update on Canada. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's shut down.
No, there is. Yeah, there's nothing. Nova Scotia is a little.
Can you
practice? No, we can't in New Brunswick. Nova Scotia, you can, but New Brunswick, everything.
So why don't you just go in and people just kind of like, okay, you go in this time, you go in this time, and bowl your 3 strings of practice.
Yeah,
I think they're closed. They're closed, aren't they?
Yeah, everything is closed.
In New Brunswick?
Yeah, everything is closed here in New Brunswick until the 31st, so next Friday, essentially.
Wow.
Why? Because you had 2 people test positive?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
I don't know if I'm allowed
actually
to come to Canada now, where I had it. Uh-oh.
All I know is that from everything,
they'll keep me out.
Everything,
dirty Americans, stay away.
From everything I'm hearing, like the people that I talk to, most people and most things down here are now just starting to be like, open it up.
Yeah,
the pandemic is over. Open it up.
It's time. It's time to get over it. It's not any worse than it was when we first started. It's just
it may not get better.
No, I'm hoping it does, but
it will eventually, but it may not get better for another year.
There's a lot of businesses that are struggling, especially bowling alleys where essentially that is all they have. So people listening, if you bowl leagues and you are not right now, you have that extra $20 or whatever you spend on league night in your pocket, take 5 or 6 of it and just give it to the bowling alley. Go drop it off, do something. That's all they usually take, 5 or 6 or 7 or $8, whatever they take for their lineage, and the rest goes to your prize money. So if you have that $20 sitting there, it's not even taking half of it to go and just give to the bowling alley to keep them afloat, to keep them open, to keep them, it's not much. So if you do have that once a week and you don't mind doing that, by all means, you don't have to. It's not a thing you have to do, but if not, we may lose our bowling alleys. I know that there's a pub here in Moncton that has closed down because they just can't handle shutting down every 2 weeks. So sometimes you have to maybe just dig a little just for everybody else. But I know, again, everybody's in a tough spot. But if you can, extra $8, $9, whatever they take for their leagues is always helpful. And I know that a lot of people seen me share a whole bunch of pictures and stuff like that. BJ is doing a raffle. Again, Woodstock Bowlicade. It is simply a bowling alley. He has no other kind of, it's not like an entertainment center. He doesn't have any VLTs or stuff that he can use, but even the VLTs are being shut down right now. But he doesn't have anything like that. So there's a draw that he's doing, $450. It could cost you $2. Just one ticket. That's all. I mean, any little thing helps. But $2 for a ticket, and he's got a prize. He's got a brand new set of bowling balls, a toque, a bag, and a sweater, and it looks like some kind of like the lotion, I think, or something like that. He's got that little lotion grip step. Yeah. Oh, is it cleaner?
It's a cleaner.
Is that what it is? Okay,
Yep.
so he's got a cleaner. So, like that's a whole bowling set, and it could cost you $2 to win a $450 prize. But that $2 by 2,000 people, that helps. That helps him stay afloat. That helps him keep his bowling alley open. Because if he doesn't have it, and especially since he's still going through hard times with his roof, so any little bit helps. And again, all it could cost you is $2. I know people in the States, I know that he is working on getting Venmo, PayPal, whatever he's got to do. So any little thing helps. And I went on the link, there's his e-transfer email for Canadians. You can send it to that. And yeah, so like I said, any little thing helps to keep a bowling alley open, and that's all it is.
And it's a sharp looking set too.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, that little
I really like colors.
Yeah, that little light blue, black, gray, white. It's got a whole bunch of different colors. It's really nice. So
yeah.
It's good, right. But that's all that's going in Canada, at least for the next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Down here is we're kind of in that little bit of a lull. That coming out of the Christmas, New Year type thing. We did have a Pro Series event a couple of weeks ago, and I really want to thank Freshy. He did a hell of a job getting me the stats. Oh, wait, no, I still don't have the results.
Brian, that looked like that was aggressive, man. That looked like that was one aggressive sneeze.
That was a good one. Yep. That's why I muted the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Freshy, you've done a great job getting those stats to me for me to plug the Pro Series. So I really appreciate your solid effort.
Yeah.
Into that. The next, of course, today is the taping for the next Candlepins for Cancer event down at Lewdle Lanes. I don't have any spoilers for folks, so
good luck to those bowling.
Yes.
Yep. The next roll-off for the next Candlepins for Cancer roll-off will be Saturday and Sunday, the 12th and 13th of February. That's a fumble, folks.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Right at the goal line.
What a great way to spend pre-Valentine's Day weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
That will be at Exeter Lanes. It is $80. It's 5 strings. They pay out a whole bunch of places, not just the top 5 that make the show, but they pay out another 10 plus spots after that. So contact Alfie or find the post on Candlepin chat. I'm sure that's pretty easily found. So you can sign up for that. The next Pro Series event is next Saturday, February 5th. That will be at Lewdle Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. This is the doubles knockout, I want to say. I can't remember if it's the knockout or elimination. I don't remember which one.
I think it's knockout.
Okay. So they have openings for the 11 a.m. shift. They are quite a few openings still available. The 1 p.m. shift is full. But the 11 a.m. shift is still available. Contact Freshy or find the post on Candlepin chat again. Sign up there. And what else do I got? What else do we got?
Matt Nichols has that tournament, the 3-person, the young, middle-aged, and veteran tournament there.
Young, middle-aged, and veteran. Interesting.
Well, it's a someone under 30, someone 30, under 50, and then someone over 50.
Oh, neat.
So it's like one person in their 20s, one person in their 30s and 40s, and one person over 50.
50 plus.
I don't know a lot about it, but that is out there. That's on Candlepin chat as well. And there was another tournament that was just announced that I was just trying to find it. Stars and Strikes in South Paris. They are going to be running their 3-4-3 3-person 9-pin marathon tournament again. If that sounds convoluted and confused, hold on one second. I will explain it. It's actually pretty cool. It is a 3-person team. It is capped at 343. That is the highest known league average. Averages as of February 19th. Must have 30 games. All bowling will be 9-pin style. For those of you who don't know what 9-pin is, pretty simple. If you throw a 9-pin drop, that counts as a strike. If you go for your spare and you leave 1 pin standing, that counts as a spare. And vice versa. If you don't, that's a 10. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. So
you cannot get a 9. You can get 8 or 10.
Correct. In this team event, each game will be bowled by the whole team, bowling as followed. Bowler A will bowl boxes 1, 2, and 3. Bowler B will bowl boxes 4, 5, 6, 7. Bowler C will bowl boxes 8, 9, and 10, and filling any marks in the 10th frame. These are 3-game matches. All bowlers must bowl in all positions over the course of the match. So the first string, for example, let's say the 3 of us were a team. Okay.
Let me bowl last first so we can get that out of the way.
What I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. There's strategy involved here. So in the first string, maybe it goes Calvin is bowler A, I'm bowler B, Brian is bowler C. In the second string, I'm bowler A, Calvin's bowler, Brian's bowler B, and Calvin's bowler C. And in the third string, Brian's bowler A, Calvin's bowler B, and I'm bowler C. I think it's pretty neat. I just think it's a cool little concept.
It is.
It's just like a league style, meaning it's a 3-game match. Each game is worth 2 points, total being 2 points as well. $200 per team. Prize money, I believe, based out on 14 teams, is $850 per team, $550 for second, $300 for third. So
nice.
It's pretty cool. Contact Will Damon or Jeff LaPierre for that, or reach out to Stars and Strikes. I've
always wanted to do that and like the doubles thing where you alternate like every other ball.
Like a Scotch doubles type thing?
Yeah, I haven't bowled that. No, I don't. There's an odd pin tournament where like if you get an even thing, it's a 0. And I don't want to bowl that. That doesn't sound like fun.
No, I'm talking oddball where you alternate balls.
Yeah. I've never bowled one of those. They sound like fun though.
It's not that much fun.
That sounds hard.
It's a little challenging.
If you have a partner who bowls similar to you though.
Well, yeah.
Like that's not necessarily you're looking for the best bowler. You're looking for the guy that leaves the most breaks like you do.
Yeah.
Or gal.
And I think the Battle of the Sexes, I think he finally found a date. Was that May 7th, I think, or something for the
that's what I was just looking for.
rescheduled.
That's what I was just looking for, and I can't find it for some reason.
Yeah.
But I know it was rescheduled. Unfortunately, COVID.
Yeah. COVID and everything.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is why we can't have nice things, yeah. Yeah. I believe it was May 7th or March 7th or something.
No, I believe it was May. I do think.
I want to say it was May.
Yeah.
I know it's on Candlepin Chat, and you can get any other stuff we missed on Candlepin Chat.
Yeah.
Yep, we do have money match number 4.
Oh, yes.
Is next weekend. Winchell and Fuller Jr. is looking for the 3-peat. They will be taking on Mark Smith and Dom Drake. Good luck to all the bowlers.
See if you can dethrone the champs.
It's going to be tough, but I think they can.
It's tough. I mean, you're talking Winchell's home house and Fuller bowls well there too. Well,
the thing about those two guys is, in order to win one of those, you have to hope that you all 4 people are on fire, or you have to hope one of them struggles, but they're both never going to struggle. I just don't see both of them struggling at the same
time. So that's next. So what is it? Next Saturday, 7 p.m. Exeter Bowling Lanes. The broadcast premiere will be Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on Spread Eagle's YouTube channel. No live stream this time.
That's no,
I think they want time to edit it.
Well, unfortunately, there's just been too many interruptions with the live streams. Either lost a string or lost audio, things like that. So by doing it this way, it gives them time to watch it, listen to it, make sure everything is the way it needs to be, and maybe put a little bit of editing into it.
Yeah, a better product, and a better experience.
Yeah, true enough. I just found the Battle of the Sexes May 7th at Bowl-O-Rama Family Fun Center at 10 a.m. Lanes are on at 9:30. I believe everybody's the name that was there is still there. They still want to go, so
perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. I wish them all well.
Be very nice in spring there. So
yeah.
So Candlepin chat was really busy this week.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on there.
It's
because they all missed us. We usually cover everything. So nobody talks about it. Now they talk about it.
So I'm going to talk.
A bunch of people sit in the circle. You guys got any Candlepin talk? Any more of that Candlepin talk?
Yeah. You got some of that. You got some of that stuff.
Meet me in the back alley for some talk.
I got Calvin talking about 9 breaks.
Yeah. Suck it, though.
So,
did you guys see my post to Fuller? Hilarious.
No, I missed it.
We didn't have a show. Well, because Jamie Boyle posted, "What's your favorite 9 break?"
Oh.
And so it just so happened that one of Brian Fuller's teammates sent me a nice picture of him missing a 9 drop by a mile. And I mean a mile. So I took it upon myself to go on the question, and I mentioned him. I said, Brian, I didn't see which one you like the most. Is that because you just can't hit any, or is that because like what happened? But I didn't see which one you liked or didn't like the most. So I'm sure that kind of busted him a little, but that's okay. We like our Brian Fuller.
A couple weeks ago on Thursday Night League, I think at least Tim and I missed a couple 9 breaks that were Timmy's, and you just went, okay.
Oh yeah, so Brian wasn't. You weren't there this week. I missed. Not back to back, but it was like one's in the second box, the other one was in the fourth box. It was close to back to back. 9-pin breaks with planks. And I'm not talking about bad wood. I mean literally planks up against the wood.
Where I missed for admitting that, Tim.
Where I missed the wood completely. One of them being the 7-pin. Folks, I have a right to left ball. My ball starts on the right and goes left, and I still missed it. Anyway, it's just hey, you all have those nights. I've just had a 3-month slump that eventually I'll either come out of or my balls will go down.
It's more like about 4.5 weeks. I know it feels like 3 months, but it's more like 4.5 weeks.
My league has been has been since the start of league. I have only had 1 400 in that house this year. That's it. Just one. I'm telling you, I'm washed up. It's time to pack it in. Yep.
You washed up? Well then good. Get dressed, old man, and get the fuck back on the lanes.
So let's talk real quickly about the post in Candlepin chat. Who is the greatest Candlepin bowler? I am going to say something that some people look at me like I have 38 heads, like they can't understand why I would say this.
He's not going to say himself, folks. I promise you, he's not going to say himself.
No. You don't have to stop
Right.
listening. You can keep listening. He's not going to say himself. If he did, I'll shut him off.
So here's my opinion on the greatest Candlepin Bowling ever. Fact of the matter is, there is no one person that is the greatest Candlepin bowler ever. Stop with the Tom Ulster talk. Stop with the Charlie Milan talk. Stop with the Peter Flynn talk. Stop with the Hal Peterson talk, or the Kansas Snow, or the Chris Hollins, or the Rob. Again, all phenomenal, fantastic, great bowlers. There is no greatest Candlepin bowler in the game of Candlepin bowling. There isn't.
There's one hell of an S tier.
It is too hard to compare eras in this game. The fact of the matter is, and I'm going to use numbers here, and this is where facts get in the way of people's arguments. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, now people are going to fact check this, and that's cool. I don't care. Fact check it all you want. Okay, Tommy Ulster won, I believe it was 17 Pro Tour events. People are like, oh my God. Well, if you take today, there is no Pro Tour. You have a Pro Series. Well, I know of one person that has 17 Pro Tour and Pro Series wins combined. Does it make that person as good or better than this person? You can't take TV into account because there are no TV shows.
They're trying like hell.
And there haven't been TV shows for years. You take Tommy Ulster winning on those TV shows down, which is an amazing accomplishment. And he was probably one of the greatest bowlers during that time. But we don't have those up here. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't.
For sure.
So to me, I liked what I think Holbrook said. I think Holbrook even said it, that there is no greatest ever. You have your Mount Rushmores, is the way he put it. And to me, that might be the best way to do it. Instead of having a singular person being the greatest ever, which I don't think you can. Because the game of Candlepin Bowling, you could be the greatest ever and you can still lose. Because you're going to lose more than you win.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, they had another post on Candlepin Chat that had all the house high records on it.
Yep.
And they had Newports, the high five, which was Chris Sargent. I drew lanes with him that day. I got to witness that on the right to his left. And it honestly is the greatest display of bowling I've ever seen in my life. It was incredible. Does it make him the greatest ever? I don't know, but that day he was.
Well, some could argue that he might be the greatest bowler ever. He's got a couple of world records. Ulster doesn't.
Sarge has tied the single string record.
I've got a Canadian record.
Yep.
I've got 3 world titles. I'm not the greatest ever.
No, I look at it, and that's what I mean by the fact is there are so many bowlers that were great.
Absolutely.
People that I haven't seen. I can't comment on Rosario. I never saw him bowl. People talk about how great. I couldn't tell you. I never saw him bowl.
No, for sure.
I only saw Kansas and Hal Peterson bowl for a couple of years before they got done.
I only saw Charlie bowl like the last 5 years he bowled.
And he was like 842 years old then.
Yeah, but he still averaged 121 in league.
True. But I mean,
he did his plates every week, but
yeah, but that's what I mean is I can sit back and I could say, I believe, and I'm not saying this, folks, this is hypothetically, I could sit back and say, I believe Charlie Myland is the best bowler to ever bowl. And I could argue it.
Yeah.
And you can't say he's not.
Especially when at 100 years old, he was
still bowling.
Still averaging 116, 17. Yep. So
I could turn around and argue that Craig Holbrook is the best bowler to ever bowl. For his longevity, for the amount of titles he has, for everything he's done in the game of Candlepin Bowling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not wrong.
He's won everything, hasn't he?
I could argue Tommy Olsen is the best. I mean, there are so many people I could argue. So that was my whole point behind that. There is no best ever in my mind. There are some damn great bowlers. And that's why I think when Craig said your Mount Rushmore of Massachusetts, your Mount Rushmore of New Hampshire, your Mount Rushmore of Maine, your Mount Rushmore of Canada. I
think that's more of a better way to look at things, honestly.
I think so. And I was trying to find Craig's post because
and it's hard too because like the young generation like Daly and those guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't Craig that said that. It was Steve Reno.
There's a guy I never got to see bowl. I never got to see Steve Reno like really bowl.
Oh, he could throw. He was good.
Yeah, but I never got to see that.
Until he blew out I think it was his shoulder. He was really good. I'm sorry, it wasn't Craig Hole. It was Steve Reno that had talked about this. And, he had, if Mass had a 6-headed Mount Rushmore, and he didn't say it would look like this. He said it may look like this, meaning there's room to pick and choose.
Yeah.
And he had Ulster, Paul Berger, Peter Flynn, Dick O'Connell, Jeff Atkins, Mike Morgan. Solid 6.
Yeah.
Maybe you put Rosario on there. Maybe you put, some other people, take a couple of people off. But I mean, New Hampshire might be, Tim Licky, Gary Carrington, Dan Murphy, Steve Vadney, Mike Poole, and Gary Duffett. Maybe you take a couple of guys off and add a couple of guys on. Maybe when it's all said and done, Bovera's on there and you take someone else off. I know maybe Winchell, there's others.
And Sarge wasn't even mentioned in either of those.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Sarge,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put him in that Massachusetts one.
Yeah.
And nothing against Mike Morgan. I might take Mike off, or I might take Jeff off. I would probably leave your Ulster, Berger, Flynn, and O'Connell up there.
Yeah.
And Maine had Steve had
my main, honestly. Go ahead, Tim. I'll let you
No,
finish.
go ahead. Nope, go ahead.
Oh, my main is Charlie, Russ, Chip, Sean, and I hate to say it, Tim. Because that's what I grew up watching. And Nate is probably my 6th. But that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, see, Reno had Russ, Charlie, AJ, me, Morrison, and Chip.
Only got to see AJ bowl once, and it was like 5 or 6 years ago at the Best Box.
After he had retired, after he'd got done, and then of course, did he have Canada? He had like Kansas, Hollett, Henderson, Tony LeBlanc, Don Gauthier, which you couldn't argue. I could argue, you're missing Hal Peterson maybe.
Yeah, Hal Peterson for sure.
But
I mean,
who are you going to take
Hal
off?
Peterson gave it up when he couldn't do what he wanted anymore. So I think because Hal Peterson could probably still bowl today, and he'd probably still be incredible.
Yeah,
like he gave it up. He gave it up because he wanted to. That was all it was. He just didn't want to. He couldn't do anything his way anymore. Yeah.
Well, got sick of bowling, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just.
Well, didn't get sick of it.
She just had enough.
Yeah.
So that's my, that's really kind of what I was talking about. Reno just took it a bit further.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Than what I had. So, Calvin, you have a couple of questions. People sent a couple of questions, right?
I do, yeah. So the first one, and I kind of, when they send it to me, I'm just like, okay, well, I want to word it this way. So they send me their questions, and it's just like, no, I'm not going to do it that way, but I'm going to do it this way.
It's the Calvin.
So yeah, it's the Calvin editing.
Yeah.
So the question is basically name 3 rivals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say and Tim, I don't want you to say your stupid answer of, oh, myself. Like I'm always up against myself every time. No, I want you to give me 3 rivals.
But that is what
No, I hate it, Tim. It's stupid. It's such a dumb answer.
All right.
So I want you to name 3 rivals. So I want
You're
a league. So I want a league rival. So somebody who you would bowl basically every week, and or not every week, but basically when you bowled them, like you're competing for high average, or they're your big competition. Like you're the ones that you enjoy bowling.
Or in the past.
Any.
Okay.
It's just 3 rivals. So your big one would be like, yeah, no, stop it. And then the second one would be a tournament. So so every time you'd go to a tournament, so say like Jeff Surratt would be your biggest rival. Like when you go, you're like, I have to beat Jeff Surratt. And then your third one would be Worlds. So when we bowl Worlds, like for example, you guys would pick like a Canadian, or who at Worlds would be your
person?
One person.
Person or team?
One person. We could do team rivals if you want. We could do a team rival for Worlds.
You're talking Worlds. That's usually more team based.
Yes.
I thought you were going to talk about like best rivalries we've seen in the game.
We could do that after too.
Let's do that afterwards. So that's
fun too. I enjoy that too. But this is more like your personal rivals.
Okay, so the league rival I can answer pretty quickly.
I can too.
Current,
I can.
I mean, that's pretty simple. It's just me. I bowl against myself because no one usually comes close to me in the.
I'm pretty sure you're losing to Jason Kaler.
I'm just this year I am. Yeah, no, exactly. The last several years, honestly, it's been Kaler and I. We've gone back and forth on high average. I think he got it one year and I've got it the last like 3 or 4. But that's okay because it's usually pretty damn close every year. Except for this year because he's just having a monster year in all of his leagues, which I don't understand.
All he does is bowl.
I know. Those other 2, I got to be honest, are really tough. Tournament rival, like.
Well, my league one is Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try and beat Tim every week because we bowl on the same team. So
you keep thinking, Tim, about your tournament ones, and Brian and I'll answer the league ones. We'll go like one at a time. We'll while we're thinking. So your league one is Tim. Yeah, my league one. I mean, granted, when I moved,
Corey, right?
Yeah, my league one is Corey. When I moved to Moncton, it changed obviously, but my league, whenever I was bowling leagues, Corey's my rivalry because, like you said, Tim, it's usually between him and I for high average. We're usually battling, and for some reason it always happened. Well, I guess because we're battling, but every year, the very first week of leagues, it was always me against Corey, because it's usually the 1 and 2 team, and that's what it was. Is Corey and I would finish top 2 averages, so it would always be him and I the very first week of leagues. So it's always fun to go in very fresh rated the leagues, and you're going up against the guy you're going to be facing for high average the whole year, right? So
yeah.
So that would be that one.
That first night of league when it's still light out, like it looks like it's like 2 in the afternoon out and you're bowling.
Yeah. My tournament one. See, I kind of think like I was thinking a bit of both, like because we'd have provincials, but we'd also have when we go to Nova Scotia, we'd always have tournaments in Nova Scotia and stuff like that. So I have kind of 2 there. My league or my tournament one for just like New Brunswick for provincials would always be Matt Cormier. I'd always feel like he, his team and that, like him and himself, that's the guy I want to beat. And then when I pulled kind of the Nova Scotia tournaments, it would be Nate. Nate would always be the guy because their team essentially would always be kind of the team to beat. So he would be the one I want to beat. So Nate would be my rivalry. So
okay. God, it's so hard to pick.
It really is
a tournament rival because
you don't bowl a lot of the same people in Maine all the time.
No, because like.
But you could also think like Pro Series. When you go to the Pro Series, like you could think like who.
I know, but a lot of those, it's such a singles oriented thing that your rival is everyone. Like you're trying to beat everyone.
Well, I get that. But then think of it as like who, if you're going there and you see that name on the list, you're like, I want to beat him. Not Tim Matero. Tim Matero.
I don't look at it that I have never in the history of evers looked at who was bowling saying I need to beat them. Because
you know
because in my head I was like, they need to beat me. That was my mindset coming all the way through was I don't have to beat them. They have to beat me. So it's hard. It's hard. You know, I guess I always wanted to be like when I got into it. I always wanted to be Russ.
There you go.
Neely. He owned the bowling alley. He was my mentor. He was the one I was always striving to beat. But
there you go.
But he's the one that put it in my mind that I wasn't there to beat anyone. They had to beat me. So don't beat yourself. So don't beat yourself. He was never
going to say you could beat him.
Right.
He was going to tell you you could beat him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I look at things a little different. Like if it's like a singles event, like a roll off or something, I look at where I draw. I like to get there and I'm warming up. I look around me like, all right, who's around me? Okay. Like if it's a pro series and you look around, you're like, all right, I got Winchell's there, Fuller's there, McGinty. All right, keep an eye on those three. If I'm somewhere close to them, I'll probably make a cut.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I look at it when it's a roll-off type thing. I usually find 2 or 3 people close to me, and I'll be like, all right. And also, like, if you look at the people to the right of you a little bit, you're like, okay, they bowled this the first game. Okay, now I'm moving over there. All right, these are the breaks. Like, you get to see a little bit, too.
Angie's having some trouble there, is she?
No.
Sounds like she's absolutely whooping the shit out of the dryer.
Yeah, no, I think he's upstairs.
Man.
No, I'm in the living room. She's making dinner.
I figured you weren't downstairs because I didn't hear the dryer go off.
No, I'm in the living room. I'm in the living room, and I purposely have the the background because Angie's like, I don't want people to see me walking around.
I can tell Mr. Kicked Back.
Oh yeah, because I'm kicked back.
Is she walking around in her underwear?
I'm not going to answer that.
Yes, atta girl.
No, she is not.
All right, so what's the best world's rivalry you guys have seen?
I dare ask.
Well, Calvin wants to know if you're walking around in your underwear, which is why I'm. She's like, do I dare ask?
Yeah, exactly. I thought she said, is my bare ass? That's what I thought.
He thought you said is my bare ass, and I'm looking over.
Oh gosh.
Oh. God.
So now the world's thing, I'll answer that from a team perspective. I don't look at that from a singles perspective because it's a team event.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's the best,
so
like. Yeah.
I'll tell you now. It's Lucky Strike.
Yeah.
It's.
I think that's everybody's
because we haven't had the Canadians down for the last 2 years. So yeah. Lucky Strike. In the past, it was McLaughlin Truck and Trailer.
Well, yeah, because they're the team to beat. Essentially, you're looking at them as the team to beat.
That was our rival.
A+ on the Canadian side, Kingswood as well.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying.
Right.
in the past,
I'm just talking about like two teams that when you see it on the schedule, you're like, hey, if I'm not bowling my match, look this way for a while, because like when you see like when it used to be like Tim Main Heat in McLaughlin, or USA East McLaughlin, or Maria's in McLaughlin, A Plus and Lucky, Kingswood and Maria's, those matches we're like, all right, we're gonna see 2000. Let's go watch.
Yeah, no, that was
like
always
respectful, not chippy, just fun bowling match to watch.
Growing up, the first kind of 10 years, it was New Hampshire All-Stars, it was Lucky 7, it was McLaughlin Truck and Trailer, it was Maria Subs, it was Borelli's,
Margin Supply.
Well, they were the first only
ones, right?
First couple of years, and then they kind of moved to a couple other names, things like that. But now, look, there's, if we were actually back at a Real Worlds event, it would be A Plus Accounting, it would be Kingswood, it would be Lucky Strike, Maria's, and other. There's other teams, but I think from a rivalry standpoint, it's Lucky Strike right now, I think, because on paper it's just they're loaded.
Yeah,
I just remember my first, like, it used to be really fun to watch the draw for the knockout, because guys were warming up and everyone was just milling around, and then they'd start doing lane assignments. And I remember my first couple, you'd hear certain matchups and you would just hear oohs and ahs, and people
like,
going to those two lanes to watch.
Yeah, because it was going to be really good.
Yeah.
Or it was going to be fun to watch.
Especially if it was like a first round match.
What about you, Calvin?
Because I've always gone and wanted, and this goes back to almost like the mixed doubles, like when we would go to Augusta and stuff like that, when we'd have the mixed doubles there and stuff. It would be Craig. Craig would be my personal rivalry for like Worlds. I'd always want to bowl Craig and beat Craig when I went to Worlds. And so that was kind of the personal one. But yeah, the team one, you're looking like A Plus, Lucky Strike. Those would kind of be the two. I'm like, all right, we're gonna beat them. Those are the ones we want to take 6 points off of, like 8 points if we're lucky, type thing. But they were gonna be good matchups. So that would probably be mine.
Okay.
So yeah, I like the whole rivalry thing. So let's see who would be the best rivalries that we've seen. Like you got to think McLaughlin and A Plus. For a few years, they were going because McLaughlin won, and then A Plus finally won in, I think it was 2009. They won their first one, I think.
A Plus.
Yeah, A Plus won their first one in 2009.
Yeah.
But they were always like just right there with McLaughlin, but McLaughlin always beat them, and then they finally beat them and passed them. So,
there was, for me, it was, if I look at from like 2000 on, if we go back to the last 20 years, it was the Main Heat / USA East against McLaughlin.
Yeah.
For about a 5 or 6, 7 year run. That was always a real big rivalry. Now, I think everybody has a rivalry with Lucky Strike.
Yeah.
I always like the Lucky and Maria matches. Those always seem very much, they're intense, and that's what I like, but they're not like crazy intense.
Yeah. Listen, our three wins, we haven't won without going through Lucky. So that's a big rivalry right now with us.
And they've stomped me out of the playoffs 4 times.
Yeah. So
throw on the Canadian side, and I would say, right now it's Kingswood or A Plus would be the two big ones that I would say from, I'll talk from my standpoint, prices the last couple of years, prices would be the team that we look at. Like, okay, you know, if we can take 6, that's the goal.
Yeah.
6. Don't look to sweep. 6. If you sweep.
Oh, yeah. If you sweep, great. Yeah.
Great. But your goal is 6.
Yeah. Sometimes your goal is 4.
Sometimes your goal.
Well, I always like the mantra of win the first string. You win the first string, it gives you lots of options. You're not pressing so hard if you start to punch and stuff in the second string. Like, okay, just figure it out. We got a whole other string after this. Like, you win that first string, especially if you win it big.
Because I mean, well, yeah, but you've seen all the times that a team like Lucky and stuff like that can come back and beat you by 80 pins. Exactly. And you may have won the first one by 30, but now you're down 50 going into the third string. So,
but that's the thing. Like, that's 2 points. Like, sometimes, you know, if you're like, okay, we're hurting, we don't really have the firepower right now. Let's see if we can get 2 or 4 and get out of this. Like,
I tell you, anybody but Gronkowski. Like, he just threw him for a good 40 yards. Like, nobody could catch the ball except for Gronk right now.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question though. It's just, and I know you hate my answer, but you know.
I know. But it's just because I like to hear, you know, an actual answer, not the Tim Matero
not
answer.
The diplomatic answer.
Yeah, but it's not a diplomatic answer when I never.
You said it? No, you're absolutely right.
I never looked at the sheet going, oh, so and so's bowling. That's who I want to beat. I never did that. I looked at the sheet and just went, okay, they got to beat me. You know, I could give you names of all the, you know, of the people that maybe I put a little extra. You know, obviously like Russ, Charlie, Chip, Morrison.
There you go. That's what I mean. Like the ones where you go in and you like think of that. Like if you go and say like a knockout or something, and you go up and you're like, all right, I want to beat this person. Like
I want to be the 1 seed.
Yeah, like or even because like I said,
I'd like Brian to qualify in the knockout of the worlds, and I'd like me to qualify and us bowl together in a 1 string.
Listen. 2 things
could be interesting
because here's the thing, Brian, like his first ball would go about 832 miles an hour, probably right straight at the 7 pin because he was so pumped up, and then he'd be all pissed off, and I'd just sit back and laugh, and then I'd tie my shoe on him, and that would piss him off even more. I got it down. I got it up here. I figured out.
Or he loses to me and he never bowls again.
Yeah, he throws the balls. He throws the balls in the snowbank.
If Tim ever lost to me in the knockout, I don't know if we would be friends. I don't know if I'd see him again.
It would all depend. Honestly, it would all depend on the strings that were thrown. For example, if you threw your high single ever of a 155,
thanks,
and
I throw bigger strings against you.
And I had a bad string of like a 140 or a 150, and you beat me.
A bad string. A bad string of 140 or 150, yeah. A bad string.
No, in all seriousness, so it really would all depend on how that string played out. Seriously.
So you're saying if I win 104 to 96, we can't be friends anymore?
I'm saying if you won 104 to 96, I might never pick up a bowling ball again.
I think I would love.
What if
I
won it?
Then you better give me some.
Not the money though, right?
Yeah, you gotta give me some. Yeah, no, yeah.
We got Calvin. What do you got for another? We'll do another question before we end here.
Okay, this one. No, well.
Yep, this one. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Do you think that? No. Okay, good. Don't need to answer anymore. Don't need to go. Questions. What a good show. Good. Thanks for the show, everybody. Do you think balls need to be weighed more before tournaments?
Absolutely, yes.
100% yes.
The world's.
I mean, that's
check every set you're gonna use.
I've never understood, ever in the history of ever, is why you don't check the equipment. Every sport, every single sport, including 10-pin, by the way. 10-pin does check equipment before tournaments.
They have a weight and ring, I believe.
Why we don't?
Ring.
I have no idea. I think it's absolutely foolish that we don't. You know how many times that people have said those are overweight. I know those are overweight. He's told me those are overweight.
Yeah.
And now he's using them. But nothing's done about it. So the main Pro Tour, we weighed bowling balls at the first event.
Mm-hmm.
And it was marked down. Actually, we weighed them every stop. I mean, it's been so long now since we had the main Pro Tour. I want to say we weighed them and put them through the ring every single stop. I want to say, because obviously bowling balls can change. You can make alterations to bowling balls, things like that. So I want to say that it was done before every event. You had a scale, you had the ring, you came in, you checked in, put the balls on the scale, put them through the ring. You're good to go. I remember one stop I had to put a bowling ball in the freezer because the bowling balls were on they were in my front seat on the floor, and the heater was coming down because it was cold. It was middle of winter, and from Norway to Bangor, they had the heat on for 2 hours. We didn't think anything of it. Got up there, I had one bowling ball that wouldn't fit through the ring. What the hell? And it occurred to me, I'm like, oh shit. That was under my heat. That was under my car heater. So we put it in the fridge for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And it was no issues after that.
Interesting.
It's the weirdest thing. Weirdest
thing.
Yeah.
Rubber bowling ball. Rubber gets on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a pro rubber.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Next week on Ripping the Rack, meteorology and bowling.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely 100%. Especially for tournaments like the Worlds, there is no reason why you can't do it. Not one. You could have a sheet that's, I got three sets. One of them is EPCO reactive use. One of them is Paramount, and one is Comet Pro Rubbers. Color is blue and white swirl. They are 265. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's on the sheet, and it's a master sheet.
Do you do that at like the front counter? Like who polices that, or who?
You do that
when you come in to pay and register. You're like, here are my balls. You look, yep, match sheet, cool.
Yeah, you do. You could do it. You could set it up so you did it Sunday evening when you checked into the hotel. You could do it Monday you could do it any time before the start of the tournament. Yeah. And if you were coming late, let's say you weren't going to be there until Thursday, you were there Thursday morning. Okay. First thing Thursday morning, you go. When you get to the bowling alley, weigh the bowling balls, check them in, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's foolish to me that it's not done.
People can say it's time, and you know what? I understand it is a time commitment for someone to sit there and go through 200 people with bowling balls.
Yeah.
I get it. That would suck. But if it was done in shifts, I'm sure there'd be a few people, even if they weren't on the committee or something, that would take a shift to weigh some bowling balls.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I look at it that it's our biggest event. It's, how many times have there been accusations of cheating?
Yeah.
Of some sort, or I'm not saying with specific bowling balls, just in general.
Yeah, we have one that has cost a friendship, or a friendship in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, absolutely, 100%. All bowling balls should be weighed and put through the ring before the event. And if you bring another set of bowling balls, those got to go through.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you. For sure.
Easy enough.
Yeah. And you know what? Exceptions can be made if you have a backup set with you and you get a big hunk taken out of one of yours. Just, hey, I'm going to use these for the half. We'll weigh them after. You don't have to stop in the middle of a half to weigh a set. Now, if you weigh them and find out they're like a pound over, trouble.
Well, I mean, that's just a matter of having it in the rules.
Yeah.
Here are
instances
you are disqualified if you are caught using an illegal set of bowling balls or whatever. You are disqualified from the tournament with no refund. Guess what? That might stop someone from thinking, maybe I can sneak this one in.
Or, here's a fun one. Your team is disqualified.
Yeah.
Now you're costing like 6 other guys money.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep.
Good.
Well, all right then. Folks, we appreciate you. We appreciate you sticking with us and listening and all that good, happy stuff.
We hope you missed us last week. If you didn't, it's okay.
It's okay. Do not forget, folks, that we, as a group, cannot talk about your individual achievements if we don't know about them. Vice versa, we can't talk about tournaments and tournament results if we don't know about them. Freshy.
Here we go. If you want your accomplishment or your tournament results mentioned on the show, put them on Facebook and tag us in the post.
Sure.
Yep, that's one way. Or you can email rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Twitter @rippingtherackpodcast. And I just realized we didn't do rankings today. That's okay. We will get them in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Super show.
People will survive.
They will.
They'll have another couple weeks to move themselves down the rankings.
Yep. Brian, where else can they hear us?
Well, Tim, they can hear us on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, YouTube, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast mediums.
Very nice. That was very soothing.
Dude, are you adjusting your shit there, dude? You all right?
No, I had
adjusted his chair.
Cat tried to jump up in my lap and tried to land on the computer, and the last time that happened, we lost an entire show.
That was
the thing is the show's over, so it's not a big deal if we lose it.
Folks, appreciate it. Have a great week. Great 2 weeks. And Calvin's going to attempt.
I'm going to attempt to go live.
Going live, next week, because obviously this week is this show. So it's going to be like an every other week thing for him, just to kind of keep the show going on a weekly basis. But we'll figure that out, and more details will follow. So appreciate it. Have a great week, folks.
Have a great week, everybody.